What is going on, everybody? So, I'm sure a lot of you in the community are aware that there has been, for the past 10 years, a protest at the Ark Encounter or Ark Encounters. I'm not really sure which one it is. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, doesn't matter. No, okay. Um, and and basically, No Illusions was there, right? And he did a whole diatribe about it, and talking about how they basically sent out like secret atheists into the crowd to try to, like, I don't know, softball, like they're evangelizing to atheists because maybe they think atheists will listen more if they think it's coming from another atheist or something. I don't know. But these secret atheists came out of the Ark Encounter, and tried to witness, tried to have civil conversations. To it, some of the atheists in the community did actually try to have civil conversations with these people. But yeah, so Ken Ham responded, and he made a video in reaction to the protests and everything. And No Illusions is actually in Ken Ham's video. Now, I only watched the beginning of Ken Ham's video because I thought it would be more fun if we could all experience it together. So, but we're gonna check out the diatribe where No Illusions talks about that first, just so we can get an idea of that prior to watching the Ken Ham video. So we're gonna get into it. Hey, I'm Brantley, and this is the Punk Apostate. Let's go. That was weird. Let me see here. But all right, here's No Illusions. We'll do this first.
So one of the things that really fucked me up at the Ark Park protest last weekend is that the Ark Park people sort of mingled in with the crowd for a while. See, the park had sent this contingent of employees to get video and pwn atheists and shit. And most of them were wearing uniforms that made it clear who they were, but some of them also weren't. And they caught me off guard more than once because, I was around my atheism people. There are certain people in my life that I only see during conferences and live shows, and those are situations where you can just be as atheist as you want to be about shit. So here I am roaming around in this crowd, accidentally striking up conversations with Christians and just going, well, so this Jesus stuff, that's a bunch of bullshit, right? Am I right? Where are you going? And look, even after they'd been briefed on what to expect in the lion's den, so to speak, Ken Ham's emissaries were not ready for me. You can tell by the expression on their face every time I would say something like, oh, fuck him in his hand holes, right? I mean, there was the initial shock of hearing fuck, followed by the slow dawning realization of what I just said, and then the even slower and more spiritually devastating realization that they just pictured it. Good times. But of course, it wasn't just blasphemies on a level that they'd never dreamed possible that we had.
It's funny, too, to think about that they're like, oh, my God, a penis could fit right in those things. How big were the nails back then? They were about the same size. Yeah, no, that's about a penis size for if you're white. Those are about the right size. Wow. Yeah, I can't stop picturing it. Oh, my God, this is going to be in my nightmares for the next month.
Had to offer, because the ones who weren't identifying themselves as initiates of the Ark Park cult were exposing themselves to a bunch of atheist conversation. They were trying to move among us and learn our ways to some degree. And it created all these amazing moments where biblical literalists who argue for a 6,000-year-old earth actually got the responses that their intellectual products merit. And that's something that pretty much never happens to Christians in America, no matter how ridiculous the beliefs they're espousing are. So from what I could see, their first goal was to find points of common ground, right? I'm sure this was step one in some rhetorical jujitsu flow chart they'd been armed with on the way in.
Isn't it sad that they have stuff like that? They literally have stuff like that where they have like flow chart. Okay, if they say that, like they're telemarketers or something. If they say this, go to that page. It always makes me think of that one episode of Friends where Phoebe like goes and becomes a telemarketer or whatever, and the guy's like, I'm gonna unalive myself. And then she's like looking through all the papers, like, I don't know. Okay, how do you respond if they say they're gonna unalive themselves? And obviously there's no paper for that. And but this is what they do, this, like, they have their little flow charts of, like, if they say this, then you go there, you say that, then you do that. Like, it's so sad. Like, everything is about manipulation with these people.
Get us agreeing with something that we all mutually believe to soften us up, make friends of us, whatever. And the way that most of them would go about this is to sort of soft pedal their bullshit, right? They would sidle up to a heathen, they'd nod along with whatever they said first, and then they'd toss out something like, well, but I could see how a reasonable person might take issue with the theory of evolution, and then just hope to get some takers.
It's funny too, because, like, trying to soft pedal bullshit, like, when it's just Christianity is hard enough, but when you're a young Earth creationist, it's just it just sounds insane. Like, you just sound like you're soft pedaling the Illuminati with doing human sacrifices in the bottom of a deep underground military base or some stupid shit.
And I'm sure that in the role play they did at Bible study, in the weeks leading up to this, the people playing the atheists just lapped that shit up. But the reality of it was nothing like that at all, right? Because they would say something like that, and invariably the atheist they're talking to that they just outed themselves to would go like, oh, is it because nobody ever explained evolution to you, or because you refused to understand them when they did? Right? The creationists would go, well, I think the most important thing is that everyone's exercising their religious freedom. And the atheist would go, well, they're spending my fucking tax dollars to do it so they can eat a festering dick. There's one conversation that stands out to me in particular. I was drifting over towards the pizza, and there's this guy, he's chatting with a couple of the organizers. Now, it turns out that he just...
Wait, they got pizza? Man, I gotta go to... It's in Kentucky. I don't know if pizza's worth Kentucky. You know what I mean? Anyway, sorry.
Knew them from before they turned to the dark side, and he was still very much a believer. But I mistook him from an atheist, and I just struck up a conversation with him, and it was friendly for like 8 seconds. Because I disparaged Ray Comfort a bit in my speech, and he decided to ride to Ray's defense. He told me Ray Comfort actually is a really nice guy. And I was like, well, no, he's a homophobic piece of shit. And the dude was like, well, I can see where he's coming from, though. And I was like, oh, well, then you too are a homophobic piece of shit. And that was the end of our conversation.
And it's funny that Ray Comfort, like, that was another reason I felt like I needed to blame this, just because, for a substantial portion of the Punk Apostate catalog, it was, basically being a Living Waters reply guy, but in YouTube form. So I feel like, it tracks with what we do here.
Look, that's what these people generally deserve. That is the reception that they are owed, not just at a protest of atheists, but anywhere, at a fucking dinner party or a blind date or a chance encounter at the cartoon-themed S&M parlor. And if their ideas weren't cloaked in the cultural armor of Christianity, it's the reception they would get, at least a lot more often than they do. But we carve out social exceptions for even the most laughable beliefs if they're filed under religious in general and Christian in particular. And sure, Christians are used to hearing this kind of shit online. I guess some of them are anyway, right? The Ken Ham acolytes that are such gluttons for punishment that they show up at the Ark Park protest. They've heard all of this and worse online. But there's a sort of like an assumption of inhumanity that goes with online interactions most of the time. It's a different thing when it's said without malice. Even before they portrayed themselves as believers, we mocked young Earth creationist beliefs with the kind of casual derision that those beliefs deserved. And I think it was genuinely one of those cases where the fact that it wasn't personal made it cut all that much deeper.
So, yeah. And if you're not...
Hey, everyone. As you all know,
if you're not familiar with the Scathing Atheist, I highly recommend that you check them out. They are a lot of fun. They do really, really great work. And it's just, there's very few specifically like comedy-based atheist shows. And so it's really nice to be able to enjoy. Not that like the other shows aren't funny and stuff. They are, but they're not specifically tailored for that. You know what I mean? So, all right, let me switch accounts here so we can watch Ken Ham do his thing.
Hey everyone, as you all know,
What the
flat
fuck?
earthers are the dumbest people alive. And while I cut my
Why did it
teeth
stay with the same video? That was
Hey
weird.
everyone, as
What
you
the
all know,
fuck is
flat
happening?
earthers are
So one of the things that really fucked me up at the
Weird.
Ark Park protest.
Okay. That is too weird. All right. That was a different account. I thought it was. All right, let me go to the history because we got to watch Ken Ham now, right? That's what I'm trying to get to. Here it goes.
Activity.
Now, this is Ken Ham's response to the Ark Park protest, right? And you'll never believe who starts it. You know, who's the first person they show there.
The Ark Encounter theme park is dangerous, it's disingenuous, it's dishonest, and it is woefully undertaxed.
That building is not a museum. After spending
There's John. Hell yeah, dude.
30 years in the faith, my life is better without it.
You know, as
There's Seth. Hell yeah. Everybody out there. I love that, like, they're irritating enough to Ken Ham that he feels like he has to make a video. You know, you could just ignore them, could just pretend they don't exist. No, he's got to, like, send out secret atheists and you know, make a video responding to the claims and everything. But all right, here we go.
they have for the past 10 years, a small atheist protest group showed up at the Ark Encounter's 10th anniversary, holding their now familiar sign that reads Genocide and Incest Park. And they also repeated a number of false accusations, for instance, claiming that Kentucky taxpayers paid to build the Ark Encounter.
Our tax dollars, the state taxpayer dollars, as well as the federal tax dollars that have been going towards this Ark Encounter, which has subsidized that monstrosity.
And object.
Okay, and Mandisa made it. Hell yeah. I'm actually working on a video of, you know, that kind of centers Mandisa is, like, you know, about the response to Durante, but like we're gonna get into that later. Well, in a different video. That's not what we're doing here. What is this? I got 2 jewels. This is new. I made it to am I the silver star? Like, I gotta look at what any of this means. But thank you. I think it's good, right? Is this a bad jewels? So these, like, negative jewels, like you give jewels like tomatoes kind of thing, except I feel like jewels would automatically I mean, that sounds positive, right? That sounds like a positive thing. Anyway, all right. We'll keep going. But thank you. I appreciate the jewels.
To the very message we proclaim, even though this nation was founded on the freedoms of speech and religion. Now, let me say this at the outset. They have every right to protest, and we defend that right. In fact, the freedoms they enjoy to criticize us are the very same freedoms that protect our right to proclaim the gospel. But having the right to express an opinion doesn't make that opinion true. And sadly,
as you are evidence of. Yep. Yeah. No. Yeah. We got that part. That's hence you, man. Like, what the fuck?
their slogans demonstrate not careful thinking, but a misunderstanding.
There. Hell yeah, dude. There he is. There's Dade Murphy. Hell yeah, dude.
Of both the Bible and the
That's
worldview
awesome.
they themselves promote. Before I deal with their genocide and incest park slogan, let me correct one of their repeated false claims. The protesters continue to tell people that Kentucky taxpayers paid to build the Ark Encounter. That is simply false. Not one single dollar of existing Kentucky taxpayer money was used to build the Ark. The Ark.
Yeah, but I mean, okay. Listen how he's carefully wording this. It didn't go to build it initially, specifically that. Because, like, dude, this dude's been a rot with, like, fraud and stuff. Just constant trying to get out of paying the taxes and selling the park for $10 at one point to a nonprofit until they realized, oh, then we would lose, like, this other subsidy or whatever. So they, like, literally sold it back for $10 again because they didn't want to have to pay that transference fee or whatever the fuck. Like, everything about this place is just fraudulent to the max degree, dude.
Encounter was constructed through private investment and donations. Now, what the Ark did qualify for was Kentucky's Tourism Development Act, a performance-based tourism incentive that has been used by the state for many tourism projects.
That are So I mean, but those projects are supposed to comply with like non-partisan hiring practices and stuff. Like the thing is, like the reason why his park doesn't really qualify for that is because they have bigoted hiring practices. They literally make you sign a form that says that you believe that homosexuality is a sin and that you're against gay marriage and that you obviously that you're not gay, right? Like, I don't know, maybe you can like work there if you're like, yeah, I'm gay, but I believe it's sin too. So I don't know how it works in that regard, but like they literally make you sign a thing like that. So it's not just a regular company. That's something that a church would do. They're trying to run like a church function thing or a nonprofit type deal as if it is a for-profit business, and getting all the for-profit business like type of benefits or whatnot, and then also try to they want their cake and eat it too. They're trying to do everything, and so they're constantly in these legal like battles and whatnot because of it.
Here's how it actually works. The state doesn't write a check to build the attraction. The attraction must first be built with private funds. Then it must actually attract visitors. Only after it generates new Kentucky sales tax revenue from admissions, food, merchandise, and other purchases can it receive a rebate of a portion of that new sales tax that it generated itself. Even then, the rebate is capped at a percentage of the approved capital investment over a 10-year period. If the attraction doesn't bring visitors, there is no rebate.
This is truth. I feel like this is one of the biggest what is it, giveaways that like you are lying when you put truth all over everything and just repeat the truth of Jesus, truth of Jesus, truth, like you're lying. It's not true then, is it? If you have to put truth all over everything, like I feel like it just is evidence that you're lying, because it's like I feel like you're being a little bit like you're going a little bit too far here around this is truth. It's truth, god damn it. Like you don't, when people are saying something that's true, they don't do that. You know what I mean? They're not plastering the word fucking truth on everything if what they're saying is actually true, because you can demonstrate it in other ways. Usually they're like, why should I think this is true? And then you provide your evidence and reasons and whatnot. When you don't have that, you just scream truth or put it in big, bold, playful font on a building.
So why would Kentucky do that? Because the state knows that a successful tourist attraction creates far more economic activity than the rebate costs. Visitors don't just come to the Ark, they stay in hotels, they eat in local restaurants, they buy gasoline, they shop at local stores, they visit other attractions, and support thousands of jobs. And that generates additional sales taxes.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Ember. Of course, Ember knows what's going on. What's up, Ember? How we doing? It's good to see you. Good to see you. Ember said YouTube lets mobile viewers send jewels as kind of a bonus super sticker option. It's been going a while. Weird. Okay. But SY just added the ability to see it. Oh, so maybe I was getting them and didn't know it. That's StreamYard. Got it. I was like, SY. What is that? StreamYard. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. I did not realize that. Is that something they pay to do? What's up? An Entropy fan. What's going on? Entropy fan. The Ken Ham looks like a used car salesman who traveled in time from biblical times, limping donkey salesman. I don't know, like limping donkey salesman, I guess, from Bible time. That would be the used car of Bible time. So yeah, I think that's pretty accurate, actually. That was good. Hell yeah. Hey, Maya, what's going on? How you been? It's good to see you. Hell yeah. We're talking about Ken Ham. He's doing a response to the Ark Park protest. So this is kind of fun. I've enjoyed it so far anyway. And he is protesting the tax exemption or whatever that they got. But you can literally look up the Wikipedia and it says like tax fraud controversy. So like him acting like there isn't anything, like this is just everybody's just making shit up. No, dude, it's literally in your Wikipedia page. So, you know,
payroll taxes, income taxes, and business growth throughout northern Kentucky. In other words, Kentucky's Tourism Development Act was designed because these projects produce far more revenue for the state and local communities than the performance-based rebate they receive. Now, the protesters either don't understand how the program works, personally,
Jurassic Lark.
or they
Jurassic Lark.
choose not to tell people the whole story. Now,
oh, that's it.
let's consider that.
Yeah, that's it. We're the ones not telling people the whole story. There's literally been like the Friendly Atheist, and there's been other skeptics who have like actually kept track of these controversies and shown exactly where he was skirting the law and basically just finding loopholes, you know, in the legal system and whatnot. And it's Kentucky, so like, you know, they're probably not going to come down on him too hard, but they have actually, which is kind of surprising, given again that it's Kentucky, you know, one of the most regressive states. And not that I could say much. I'm in Florida, you know, for a couple more months anyway, and then I will not be in Florida, thank God. But yeah, so but they even came down on him a couple times. So that's hard to do, to get your theocratic government pissed off with your Christian attraction.
Their accusation of genocide. The Bible teaches that the flood was not an act.
Oh, so he just ended it there. That was it. So as if it was just that one thing, because there was other aspects of it as well, that like he had to promise that he was going to be bringing in the amount of revenue that was required to get that subsidy or whatever, and he didn't. That was like one of the things that there was a couple different channels that like kept track of that sort of thing. The number of people that were actually going to the park, and he did not meet that requirement, and yet still manages to probably report false numbers so that he can continue to get that subsidy. But anyway,
of arbitrary violence by a cruel deity. It was the righteous judgment of a holy creator upon a world that had become completely corrupt and filled with violence. You see, Genesis tells us that every intent of the thoughts of man's heart was only evil continually, and that the earth was filled with violence. God, as a creator who gives life, has the authority to judge his creation in a way that no human being ever could.
So it's not genocide if God said to do it. Then it's just righteous mass murder. Like what do you want? Because a lot of times they'll get upset about the genocide aspect of it and be like, it's not just based on genetics, you know. It's like, okay, man, like what the like, it's really kind of splitting hairs here as far as I can tell. He killed the entire planet, man. Okay, so it wasn't based on genetics. It's even worse because he didn't care about genetics. He just killed all of them. Like, what the fuck? Not better. Okay, and for him to be like, no, it's not bad because it's God, so he's allowed to do it. So this is exactly the problem that we have with you. This is why we put that on the sign, man. Because listen to you defending it. Jesus.
But here's what many critics conveniently ignore. The ark wasn't simply a picture of judgment. It was a picture of God's grace. God gave Noah decades to build the ark while Noah preached righteousness. There was time to repent. There was a way of salvation. The ark ultimately points out.
I don't really remember hearing a whole lot of that in that story. There was a whole lot of Noah going out and trying to convince people that and if they would repent. Repentance wasn't a thing back then. That wasn't like how it worked at that. That's a Jesus thing, dude. Like, you're mixing up your testaments here, okay?
Us to the Lord Jesus Christ, who today provides the only way of salvation from the coming judgment. Now,
yeah, see, he's literally mixing up his testaments. There was no Jesus redemption back then, dude. Jesus hadn't existed yet. What the fuck? Like, you would think that the atheist, like, wouldn't be the one to point this out. Like, you're the Christian, man. How do I know your book better than you?
As Noah and his family went through one door into the ark to be saved, so we need to go through that one door, Jesus. Jesus said,
What? You want to go through Jesus's door? Which the back door? You want to go through Jesus's back door? Okay. Well, I thought he was kind of against that sort of thing. I know you were against that with your hiring practices, but all of a sudden, oh, he just is the door. Oh, okay. Well, that's it's metaphorical. Got it. Okay. Well,
I am the door. If anyone enters through me, he will be saved and will go in and out and find.
Go in and out. Why is this so? God damn it, Adam and Eve. Why don't I still have you as a sponsor? I need another sex toy sponsor. If anybody knows any good sex toy like sponsors I could promote here, that'd be wonderful.
Pasture. That's John chapter 10, verse 9. Now think about this for a moment. If you're an
Asexual perspective? No. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He wasn't going to go that way.
atheist and believe there is no God, no ultimate moral lawgiver, and that morality is simply the product of evolution or changing cultural opinion, then on what objective basis do you condemn anything as objectively evil?
Yes, on what objective basis? Do you know what the word redundant means, Kenny? You ever heard that word before? I know you know the word objective and objectively and objectivist probably too, and all the other words that have it as a root. What the fuck? Like, we get it. Like, you think that it has to be objective, even though it's not objective. It's your subjective interpretation of what you think your God wants everybody to behave like. And then you just say that that's objective. Now, when you try to put it on ontological kind of like argument type of structure or whatever, it's completely meaningless because it's completely detached from anything on the ground. It's always just, well, they're just out in the ether. There's got to be a best way to behave and all that. And it's like, if you can't know what it is, if you don't have access to your objective moral like structure or standard or whatever, then this whole conversation is utterly fucking useless, and you're just as subjective as everybody else having this discussion. Okay, so quit trying to act like you're somehow above it, because you're not.
If morality is merely a human invention, then words like evil, justice, and wrong become personal or societal preferences, not universal truths.
Okay. That universal truths. This is what I'm saying. Like they like go to the playground of philosophy to like make these points or whatever, but it's just so detached from anything real, because it's like, I don't give a shit if it's an objective truth or whatever the fuck. Like, it doesn't matter. You can't demonstrate that you have the objective standards. Just claiming that your standard is the objective one, that your opinions are objective opinions because the magic that you believe in has to exist. Otherwise, it's just opinions, and that makes me feel bad, as if your feelings matter to what the truth is at all. It doesn't matter. Like, none of that shit matters. Okay, it's just, this is all just rhetorical philosophy bullshit. And I say like it's philosophy bullshit because he has no idea how the actual philosophy functions, or like he doesn't recognize that like there are actual moral realist atheists, that do actually believe that morality can be objective, and it's not a Christian versus atheist thing. You got both on both sides, because there are Christian anti-realists, moral anti-realists. So that you got it on both sides. It's not, they try to like act like it's all Christians on this side and all atheists on that side, and it's not.
And ironically, the moral outrage expressed by many atheists actually borrows from the biblical worldview they reject. They want objective morality while denying the only foundation that makes objective morality possible. Now,
which is what's so funny about this, honestly, because one of the things that they do is they use the concept of objective morality to justify the existence of their God, and then their God to justify the existence of objective morality. So it's unbelievably fucking circular either way you look at it, right? Because it's like, oh, well, without a God, then there is no objective morality. So therefore, there has to be a God, right? Mainly because that makes them feel uncomfortable. But that doesn't matter to the truth at all. So yeah, it's just they just it's this really like, it's rhetoric, man. It's this Christian apologist bullshit rhetoric. That's it.
About the accusation of incest. Well, that accusation also misunderstands biblical history. The word incest is a modern English term that wasn't even part of the biblical vocabulary. More importantly,
The biblical vocabulary.
critics are taking today's circumstances and imposing them on the very beginning of human history. The Bible teaches that all people descended first from Adam and Eve. Their children necessarily married one another because...
Well, hold on a second. Is incest objectively evil? Because if it's objectively immoral, according to your objective standard, then that means that all those people back then were breaking that objective standard. Wow, it's almost as if your whole belief system just shatters if you just ask a couple basic questions.
There were no other people. And later, after the flood, all humanity descended from Noah's 3 sons and their wives. And again, marriages among...
Okay, so Ken Ham's pro incest, yo, because it's just a modern, it's just a modern understanding of stuff. It's just made up, really. I mean, come on, it's not a big deal.
Close relatives were necessary for humanity to multiply. Now, at that early stage of history, humanity had not accumulated the thousands of harmful genetic mutations we see today.
Oh, really?
It was only many centuries later, after the effects of sin had greatly...
The sin, the magical thing that nobody can demonstrate exists, and is simply just a concept of like, this is the stuff that gets all over things when you eat apples and you're a rib woman talking to a talking snake. So yeah, this is scientific. Look at the man that he's got up there on the chart or whatever.
Increased genetic deterioration that God prohibited marriage between close relatives, as we see in laws such as Leviticus 18. God's command...
Oh, okay. So wait. This is what I'm saying.
Had greatly increased genetic deterioration that God prohibited marriage between close relatives, as we see in laws such as Leviticus 18.
Okay. The nakedness of your sister, either your father's daughter or your mother's daughter, whether born at home or born outside, their nakedness you shall not uncover. And what is this having to do with? That has something to do with it. With the incest? That has something to do with incest? Okay. Wow. It's crazy how much interpretation goes into the thing that's fucking objective, apparently. It's so amazing how that works.
God's commands fit the stage of human history he was dealing with. But there's another inconsistency here that's worth pointing out. If someone rejects the Bible and
on your side, because you seem to be the only one here with inconsistencies, buddy,
accepts an evolutionary worldview, then human beings are simply the product of an unguided evolutionary process.
Yep. That's what the evidence shows. Like, it's crazy to evaluate the evidence any other way.
Evolutionary theory attempts to explain biological ancestry, and it does not provide a moral code.
Provide a moral code? We're talking about biology, dude. You're mixing up. This is a category error, it seems. You're not talking about the same thing, dude.
It cannot tell you why one relationship is morally acceptable and another isn't. And likewise, atheism itself provides no objective standard for morality.
Neither do you, man. Like, you just repeating that does not do anything. You've literally just demonstrated that your objective moral standard is exactly not objective. If incest was okay in one point and then not okay later in Leviticus, whether you like have this like concept of sin or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's supposed to be like 2 + 2 is 4. I'm talking about objective. That means outside of all opinion, period, which means it cannot change. It can't be like moral over here and not moral over here. It cannot change. That's not how it could possibly work if it's objective. But since it's literally just you guys deciding that your God is the objective source of all morality or whatever, even if he fucking contradicts himself within just a couple books of the Bible, then somehow it's objective. Like, he doesn't know what the word objective means. I'm starting to think that's what is happening here. He's just listened to Frank Turk say it a bunch, and he's like, yeah, that's a good way to say that. I'm gonna start saying those words. Objective, yeah, that's a good one.
At best, it appeals to the changing human opinion or cultural consensus.
Yeah, kind of like your religion has changed with the opinion. I mean, 45,000 different denominations, buddy, planet wide. That's a lot of opinions, you know? My God.
The Christian worldview is completely different. It provides an objective foundation for morality because it begins with a holy creator who determines what is right and wrong.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That would still be an opinion, man. That's just your opinion of what you think the objective standard is. It doesn't actually provide any kind of objective standard. Hence, all the different denominations, dude.
From Genesis onward, God establishes marriage as the union of one man and one woman. It is God's word, not changing.
That's not true. People have multiple wives in the Old Testament. It's crazy how they could just not know their own book, man. Like, there were multiple wives in the Old Testament. Holy shit. So what about that part, huh? And certain religious sects literally point to those parts in the Old Testament as evidence that they should be allowed to have multiple wives.
Human opinion that defines morality. And before I close, let me share something that really stood out to our Answers in Genesis team who spent time at the protest, not just watching the speeches.
Here we go. So now we're going, hey, that's awesome. Godless Granny's there. Hell yeah. Godless Granny got herself in a picture. There's Joe back there too. Hell yeah. Everybody got in this video. God, I got to go to Kentucky. But on the downside, I'd have to go to Kentucky, you know.
Talking personally with many of the protesters. The public speeches were filled with strong rhetoric, blasphemy, vulgarity.
Shut up and let us do our thing.
And repeated accusations.
Hell yeah, dude. Like, it made it into the video. So that was Seth actually shared that out. Ambushed Apostate, if you're not familiar, he had released a video that that was no illusions. Be like, will you shut the fuck up and let us do our thing? Hell yeah, dude.
Against the Ark encounter. Speaker after speaker denounced Christianity, young earth creation, and the Bible. But something very different happened when our team stepped away from the microphones and spoke with individuals one-on-one. What became apparent was that there wasn't even agreement among many of the protesters about what they were there for. One speaker repeated the false claim that Kentucky taxpayers had paid to build the Ark and argued that the money should have been spent elsewhere.
Our tax dollars, the state taxpayer dollars, can go towards better historical efforts, like the African American Heritage Trail in Kentucky.
Yet one protester admitted he had no evidence that taxpayer money had been used to build the Ark. And of course, it wasn't. Another person.
It wasn't that. I mean, it's just splitting hairs here, dude. Like, you've been, there's tons of controversy when it comes to your tax exempt status and all this other shit. Literally selling your park for $10, dude. Come on. You sold your park for $10 to get out of a 50 cents per ticket tax, dude. Shut the fuck up.
Rejected the accusation that teaching children biblical history is child abuse, and one of them claimed it was child abuse.
That is child abuse on two different levels. Childhood indoctrination is abuse to begin with.
An organizer.
It is. As somebody that was indoctrinated in this shit, I can tell you straight up, it is abuse. It really sets you up to not be able to understand how the world works. And here in America, like, you really need to understand how the world works in order to function with any kind of like level of success. If you are believing these types of things, like your ability to understand science and shit like that, like, that's so important. And yet, like, you're taught, like, I was taught that, like, science is all bullshit and that scientists are all lying because, like, they hate God and they just want to hide the truth. And so that's why that's the type of shit that Ken Ham pushes, is that scientists all hate God, you know, and that's why they're trying to hide the truth of Jesus or whatever the fuck. Like, that type of stuff is harmful to a child. It just is. Saying that all science is bullshit is just, beyond the fact that it's just demonstrably false, but it's just harmful to teach shit like that, because then it throws out your ability to learn almost anything, because the whole point of science is to be objective and to try to figure out what is actually true through a system of testing and stuff. right? And then evaluating your results and not being biased about it and shit. That's what science is, and that's the thing that they don't want you to think about when you're a child growing up in a Christian home. They want you to just believe the authority. If the authority says it, it's true. Do not question authority ever. You know, that's the main takeaway from religion, period. But
Explained that his primary objection was simply that he no longer believed in God and felt he could be a good person without him. In other words, when you move beyond the slogans and the placards, a deeper issue begins to emerge. The real disagreement isn't.
he took a picture with the. That's really funny. He's like, "Oh, look, I'm in with the atheists thing." The atheist banner. Look at me. I can't show this to anybody because the naughty words on it or something.
Ultimately about timber, an ark, tourism, incentives, or even Noah's flood. Those are simply the visible expressions of something much deeper. The real issue is the authority of God's word and humanity's relationship with its creator. That's what it's all about. The Bible explains this reality. Romans tells us that sinful mankind suppresses the truth.
I knew it. I should have said that at the outset. They're like, I guarantee he's going to say, they just suppress the truth and I'm righteous. Of course your book says that, man. Of course. You got to make non-belief, not believing a thing, a moral issue, right? Because then you don't have to do any work. Now you don't have to do anything because, you're just evil. I don't have to convince you of all the insane fucking talking snake and talking donkey claims or anything. No. You're just evil. That's why you don't find the talking donkey book convincing because it's a moral issue. It's such fucking bullshit. And of course, Romans says that shit.
Unrighteousness, and apart from Christ, we are all by nature in rebellion against God. That's not describing only atheists. That describes everyone else. The difference is
that describes even other Christians that have a slight disagreement about the doctrine or maybe young earth creationism or anything like that. Even those people they're immoral in their rejection of my bullshit.
Christians have come to recognize our rebellion, repent of our sin, place our faith in the one who died and rose again to save us. And that's why, despite the protests, we don't respond with hatred or bitter.
Yeah, there's Noah right there. Again, they're trying. Gosh, she is so small. Oh my God, that's Lucinda. Lucinda Illusions. His wife, that's Noah Illusions, and his wife, Lucinda. Those aren't the real names, by the way. I don't know if there's anybody like, that's a crazy name to have. What are the odds of becoming an atheist podcaster with a name like No Illusions? That's great, huh? He was born for this, really. No, but she is fucking tiny. She's literally shorter than 5 foot, I think, if I'm not mistaken. No, she's super sweet though. I met her at it was in Orlando. They did a God Awful Movies live record. It was fucking awesome. So much fun. My stomach hurt from laughing so much.
We genuinely care about those who oppose us. We want them to know the same grace that God has shown us. As Romans chapter 1, verse 16 declares, for I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God.
I'm not ashamed to let you know. Anybody remember that? Newsboy, like the original Australian Newsboys, before that DC Talk guy got all involved and everything. But I hear they don't even have him anymore. But I don't know. I'd have to check again. It's been a minute since I've looked in on the fucking Newsboys.
Salvation to everyone who believes. And our prayer is that those who protest the Ark Encounter today will one day enter not just the doors of the Ark, but the door himself, the Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm good. Let's look at some of these comments. My other computer's not booted me out of everything in the last second, so I'm just gonna have to take a break to look at the comments. Let me see here. What was it? Hold on. What did I just showed it? Where'd it go? Hold on. Andrew said incest is fine as long as you don't see each other's nakedness. Oh, okay. Lights off, undercovers. There you go. Loophole. It's funny. It reminds me of Eli from Noah's podcast. Eli Bosnick's another host on there, and he always says that like he's was raised Jewish, and like he says like their favorite thing is tricking God. They got like all these little like get out of rules by doing these little tricks and stuff. Which is kind of funny. But, let me see here. Entropy fan said many harmful genetic mutations is not why incest is not good for the gene pool. It's the exact opposite. See, I don't know the genetic issue as well on that. I know that it is a problem when it comes to reproduction, from what I understand. But is like why that is the case, I have no idea. But that's interesting. I'll have to look into that. So yeah, and so pro incest, and he chose Kentucky. That's funny, dude. Like the exact place where that tends to be an issue, from what I understand. Oh God, yeah, that in West Virginia, right? That's it, right? I hear that's in like where was the Wrong Turn movie? Where was that one? Because I hear that's probably got to do with Kevin. Where was that at? Kevin, you gonna? No, you're just gonna look. Okay, all right, whatever. You know what? We're moving on. So let me know why you're here.
Be reconciled to God, who created them and loves them. You know what really struck me about this protest wasn't the slogans themselves. It was
all the black people. That would have been funny if you said that.
That they revealed the difference between two competing worldviews. One worldview says there is no creator, no absolute authority, and ultimately no objective basis for morality.
Oh my God, you guys like just keep returning to that, dude. Without your ability to demonstrate that your God exists and that yours is even the right one, even after you've demonstrated that it exists, you still got to make sure that it's the one that's yours. And then you got to make sure that it's the one that's yours that is being interpreted by you correctly. And then you go, and that's objective. Like, get the fuck out of here, you idiot.
Anything goes. The other begins with the God.
No, yours says that anything can go. You're literally defending genocide. I mean, he didn't defend specifically genocide, but he basically was like, God said that it's okay. As long as God says it's okay, then it's okay, which is literally the opposite. It's like of what he's saying. Anyway. Oh, yeah. I was looking at the chat. I'm sorry. I got, hey, Deviant. What's going on, Deviant? Noah could have preached redemption as much as his 500-year bones could manage. But the earth is pretty fucking big, so how would he even have the time to reach everyone? A turbo walker? Yeah, I know. Like you flood the whole earth for what? Like, just that one area or whatever. But like that, because that's the other thing too. And they never really seem to talk about this. And this is where it gets very obvious that the Bible is bullshit. That there was like other people that existed and stuff back then. Like they talk about how they got their wives and everything, right? And then it was like, oh, what was it? The kids, Ham or whatever, or Set or whatever, one of the kids, whatever. Abel, Cain and Abel. Those are the only two kids, supposedly, right? They'll try to say that, oh no, they had girls too, but girls didn't matter, so they weren't named in the Bible because girls don't matter. And right, but then they're like, he has to leave. They're like banishing him, right? And then he's like, well, what if I get killed by the other people? And God was like, oh yeah, right, the other people. And we're all like, the other people? What fucking other people? He's like, I'll put a mark on you for all the other people that apparently just popped into existence, even though these are supposed to be the first people in existence that started the Earth's population and everything. But somehow there's other people out there with cultures already established and everything else. So it's absolute insanity right from the start. But anyway, here we go. Claims of objective morality is when you go into philosophy, but have skipped the development stage where you gain objective permanence, or object permanence, not objective permanence. Exactly. Yeah, I couldn't even really tell you with any kind of certainty that Ken Ham has an object permanent. I don't know. I don't know if you're right. He probably skipped that stage. He certainly thinks like he skipped that stage. Michael, what's going on, dude? So dang, it's gotten to the point where, or it's gotten to the point that they force Ken, they forced Ken's hand to actually address the protest. Don't they usually ignore it? Yeah, yeah. And honestly, I would think that would probably be a better idea now because all they're doing is kind of bringing more attention to the protest, which is awesome. So, keep it up, Kenny. We could use the promotion there. And this is just like what Christians constantly do. They don't seem to understand like how like promoting things works because a lot of times artists and stuff will do satanic imagery just to freak them out so that they can run back to their little circles, talk about how evil and satanic it is and scary, and then give them that much more publicity than they would have had they not used that satanic imagery. So it's just funny how dumb they are. But what else we got here? Oh, there he is. There's Seth right there. What's up, Seth? Hell yeah. Yeah, Seth was the one that shared that video of Noah telling him to fuck off. It's on I think it was on his Facebook, but probably on his YouTube channel as well. Definitely check out Ambushed Apostate. It's great. Love it. Hey, what's up, JT? How we doing, dude? Doing all right? You're looking good. Nice color behind the J there. It's not quite red, not quite what is that color? It's just staring at me again. Yeah, hold on. Andrew said nobody said you use taxpayer money to build the ark. I know. See, he has to like slip in. He has to like slip in a straw man, basically, and be like, oh, now let me make the argument that nobody paid to have it. The tax dollars didn't go into having it built. It went into subsidizing it. You fucking ass. And like I said, like he literally sold the park to a nonprofit for $10 to avoid taxes and all this other shit. And just to make it that much more ironic, it was a safety tax. It was to keep people safe. And, he's like, keep people safe. No, we don't do that here. We want to be like that dinosaur park in Florida, just have kids dying. That was my goal. Get them to heaven that much faster, I thought, JT said, during the voyage, Noah was asked, where are we? Said, well, we started here, went north to here, and drifted east to here, which is where we are now, here. And it's like, yeah, but Noah, that's just a blue piece of paper. Right. And we're right here. Not getting it. He's not getting it. All right. Let's take a look at something else. What was I looking at? Oh, dude, I think I found the most batshit person on the fucking internet. I think this person like even is crazier than Kat Kerr. Honestly, I seriously think she is. There was one point, and we'll get to it, but
control and organized abuse.
This is her, but and we're gonna look at her page for crap. She has one. Let's think. Which one am I doing? Angel. It's Angel's Journey, right? The Angel's Journey podcast. Now let's look at what her thing is. I don't know what that is. It's some conspiracy thing, I'm sure. A cult survivor, right? Christ follower and chain breaker. Okay. But like one of the things she said the other day was that she was attacked by a shape-shifting witch. Not even kidding. We got to look at it. But we got to get into a little bit of like what she talks about because it's just she's fairly new here. Apparently she came from TikTok, so she already had somewhat of a following. And so she came here and created this. Look at this. Nephilim dumbs I love that they have to call them dumbs. It's deep underground military base, for short. But which attacks me on the screen at the end of the stream? It's not on the screen at all, but it's so funny. But let's watch some of this one because it is wow. It like honestly, dude, like our education system is producing this shit. I feel like this is straight up an indictment of the education system. I almost feel like we need to leave the chat up because she responds to him so often. So here we go.
Okay. Okay.
Is it working?
That was so bizarre. Are you guys in here?
I don't think your mic is working, lady. I think you're going through the computer, but it's fine. Whatever.
Can you still hear me? My computer, if you guys are in here, my computer just like totally it just like totally crashed.
There's the witches, I bet, right? It's got to be the witches
And then
trying to get you.
came back up. I don't know what happened. That was so weird.
Mhm. Yeah. Because wait, doesn't this have to be plugged in? Like the 3-prong thingy? Isn't that like part of it? She has the headphones part plugged in. I don't know what that is over there, if that like voids that out. Anyway, I don't know why I'm so enamored with the fucking microphone. But anyway. Okay. Are we gonna you want to talk and say words, lady? Any words will do. And there's no all right, we're gonna skip forward. This is just that boring part of TikTok where you just stand there and wait for people.
Shannon, you need to text me. I missed
Oh my god.
Okay, this is anyone. What do you mean? And yeah, she's currently going through inner healing now. And what is fun about her is that she is going through self-deliverance, which is the book that my husband's currently writing on how to do this and how you can do inner healing at home. It's pretty interesting. So basically what she does is
You do
she will
inner
talk to
healing.
Jesus like one-on-one, and then
You
and
do
would-
like inner healing to deliver the demons out that are inner. You got to get the demons out that are inner. So it's the inner healing.
she does it is she'll stand in the mirror, and then she can Jesus will have her. Sorry, my husband's handing me his book. Thank you.
Oh, he's got it.
Yeah.
Oh, his book is a computer.
Oh, okay. So this is the cover that
Oh,
he's thinking.
he's making a cut. So this is what AI pumped out, and not too bad. He's new with the whole Canva thing, but looking pretty good. Liking these AI effects they got there.
Of the new book. Sorry, this is weird.
Oh, it's a Mac.
So this is the new
Ugh.
cover. Like, you know, this is you and your
With
dark
like red and yellow and green dot. I get so confused when I get on a Mac. I'm just like, I have no idea how to do anything.
cell, and you know, Jesus is the only way that you're going to get out of it.
Oh, that's new.
So that's his new cover.
It's weird too because she will like swear, like she'll be like, "Oh, fuck off" and all this shit. Right? But she is a Christian. Clearly, she's just not, fundamentalist. But she's more of like a conspiracy type Christian,
Or that he's thinking of. But anyway, I love Shannon/Stephanie. I didn't share her real name because that's for her to do.
Yeah, and you don't want those Illuminati witches knowing your name and stuff, because then they can come after you.
But I will probably have her on virtually my show at some point because I love her to pieces, and she is like a sister to me and always will be. So stop. That's what I see when I stand in the mirror. Oh my God, no way. Babe, Shannon is saying when she stands in the mirror, this is what she sees when she's doing her self-deliverance.
Oh my God. It's all connected. How could she have known that was what? Oh my God. It's all connected. This is, wow. See, it's all real.
Well,
and it doesn't look like anybody's in the chat though. That's what's really strange here. Hold on. Because like, what the fuck? Is she like pretending to have Ah, shit. Where'd the chat go? Damn it. I was looking for the live chat. Let's see here. Where the hell did your chat go? Okay, don't mind.
What is where is it? Pages. Shannon, this is crazy. The last chapter 5?
6.
Oh my good God. This is getting irritating. How dumb.
Shepherd, so give her some love. She just recently passed away. She was an old girl.
Okay, we're gonna go to where the witch attacks her because this is just nothing. There's nothing here. So we gotta skip ahead
Multiple
to the
personalities,
witch.
and we never knew which one we were gonna get. And yeah, we're just all expected to think that's normal. My dad, you are allowed and entitled to that, and talk to the Lord about it. But like, she does have DID, probably. My mom does, and it's like, you're screaming at an altar that might be like 12 years old. My mom pretty consistently functions in like a 13-year-old altar because she can't function in society. She's just like a little kid. And there's nothing wrong with being childlike. I mean, for Lord's sake, like, look at I love happy things. Don't get me wrong. I have a sea turtle from Build-A-Bear. Like, I love happy things. But I'm a function.
What? I'm so confused. It's okay to go through the world like a child because I like happy things. Okay.
Functioning adult. I can have hard conversations. When my dad would try to have emotional conversations with her, she would get up and storm away and say that she can't handle this and she can't talk about it. So imagine being married to someone that doesn't care about how you feel, doesn't talk to you about how you feel.
Okay.
Dysfunctional, man. She was
Because like a big part of like what this whole thing is, and I guess I should have prefaced this earlier. She says that she was raised in a satanic occult, right? But this is where it gets really funny though. Her body was copied, right? And she was cloned. And so she isn't actually the one that was tortured by the occult or whatever, the witch coven or whatever, because she's a clone of her that was that, but she got all her memories and stuff because of the cloning process. And and she was raised in these deep military base things and all that. Hold on, she's like talking about it some because I skipped to the end when I read this, Nephilim dumbs which attacks me on screen at the end of the stream. I was like, okay, going to the end, and it's so hilarious. But okay, sorry.
So you guys got to think, when DID happens, it's a fragmenting of the mind, that if I didn't do well, that I was going to die. Like shit that didn't make any sense. My parents were like, what are you talking about? Like, you got a totally normal life. What is going on?
Okay.
Mine start at like 13 to 14, and they're still spotty. Like, guys, my memories aren't clear from 13. That's just when they start. That's the furthest I can go back in my childhood, and they're still spotty.
Because of being in the military, because of the clone thing, so I think they grew her in the cloning machine until she was 13, and that's why she started having memories at that point, apparently.
When they cloned you and switched you, was the clone body younger than the original? I'm not sure how long cloning takes. So cloning, they have artificial wombs underground, guys, and they've talked about this openly in the public.
Guys, I'm somehow going to be misogynist, dude. Guys, they got artificial wombs, bro. Okay, dudes, guys, men only. That's who I'm addressing here.
Well, artificial wombs, children being grown in them. We have CRISPR babies. We have designer babies. We got all this stuff going on, and so they'll just put you in an artificial womb, or they'll
just stick you in. They'll just stick you currently into an artificial womb and make you disappear. It goes backwards. Like, what the fuck is happening?
In a birthing mother underground. So a real person will be artificially inseminated, with your egg, just like IVF, because they've had IVF for years, and then they will birth you and then switch you out. So
then they'll birth you and switch you out. And having the IVF for years thing, that's some kind of like bad. That's bad. People having access to reproduction that want it, that can't have it naturally. but that's bad. I still, because of the whole cloning and switching people out and everything. That's all. That's the real problem right there.
Not exactly younger. I mean, they can clone people at whatever age they want, by the way.
Oh, well, that's interesting. They can just clone you at whatever age, you know? You just like, what does that even mean? Like, what do you mean they can clone you at whatever age? Like, does that mean they can like take your DNA and then go grow another one of you in like a couple days that's your age? Like a fucking like that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie? Like, what is happening?
And clones can age faster or slower, depending on what they want them to do. It depends on the magic.
Oh, okay. Well, they can age some faster or slower. Well, that answers that. My God.
No, I received no love. That's why I'm not bonded to my parents. Not really bonded to anyone. That's also why I'm probably kind of autistic.
Because you didn't get any wealth. You're autistic because you didn't get the wealth. Because you're not bonded to your parent. I don't know what she means by bonded.
Shannon's actually kind of autistic. We both are. Like, there was no love. I wasn't really shown any of that at all as a child.
Well, you know, you were raised by witches in an underground military base, so I get it. You know, those military bases they tend to be devoid of love.
I listen to Brandon Biggs sometimes. Oh, shit. What? Who? Oh my gosh. Oh.
A skunk just sprayed in the house. And she somehow labels that witch attacks me on screen at the end of the street.
Oh no. Did it actually spray? Yes, come out here. Oh no. Hang on. We just had a skunk that sprayed in our house. Give me a second. Dude, what the heck? What? Did it spray you?
But she just walks off for like 5 minutes.
I don't know.
What the fuck? I am so confused. And then so the skunk sprayed in that. Like, I don't, first of all, what? How is that possible, man? Close your door. What, do you live in a fucking barn? I don't know. That's just what people say a lot when you leave the door open. I don't know. Do people not close barn doors or something? Is that a thing? Yeah, I don't know. I've never had a barn, so I don't know the door rules. You know, like they're how they, you know, how those doors work. But how are y'all feeling about that? I haven't even had a chance to look at the chat. Hold on. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Cool. We got cruise ship here. We got Grand Theft Auto Bot. We also got John Gooderman or Gooderham. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't like to mispronounce last names. It can be offensive, you know. Although you have a pretty white sounding last name, I assume, so it's okay. You're allowed to mispronounce those. John said, it's a big conspiracy with the Queen, the Vatican, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, and Colonel Sanders before he went tits up. Damn, that goes deep, dude. That is a conspiracy right there. One that I can sink my teeth into. For Big John, what's up, Big John? Big John said, is a wife permitted to follow her own conscience? How long is a woman unclean after the messy act of childbirth? The Holy Bible has answers to these questions. Do you? No, I don't have a question for that. I mean, I don't have an answer for that. I would say they're never unclean, you know, because that's weird to call somebody unclean because they gave birth. But okay. And Entropy Fan said, why are the cloning bases deep underground again? Ostensibly, they are hiding from prying eyes, not nuclear bunker busters. You got me. I don't know. I do remember. I mean, that's what's so interesting about this is a lot of these these conspiracies, they don't seem to evolve very much, because these are the same conspiracies I remember like talking about when I was into this shit, like like what, 15 years ago at this point. Like, I don't even know how long ago it was now. It was forever ago. It was like with all the Tupac stuff, right? And the Illuminati, and he's still alive, by the way, over in a different, on the island somewhere. So they there was a different body that they showed. There wasn't, all that shit, right? And then you got the Illuminati stuff, the Jay-Z and all them stuff. But there was a lot of talk about these deep underground military bases and stuff. It's a very Alex Jones. Let me put it that way. It's very Alex Jones, but like the Alex Jones from like 15, 20 years ago, when he was just sort of like a centrist, hating all the government equally and not just the left or whatever. This is crazy. But listen to what she says when she comes back.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I think they just sent witchcraft to our house, guys.
They sent witchcraft to our house, guys.
A skunk that was standing outside our door.
In the form of the skunk. They just not very. Do the witches know how the witchcraft is going to happen? Or do they find out afterwards? We're like, all right, witch magic, go! Oh, gee, it's going to be so fried. We sent a full-on demon to her house. A skunk? That's it? That's all? Really? Got demons? Come on. I thought we were past this. Are you pranking me again with the skunk this time? Really? Come on. I was trying to send an actual demon. Like, I'm talking horror movie type attack. Demonic attack here, and you do it, skunk. I'm gonna get. Can I talk to your demon manager, please? This is ridiculous. Okay, you're not even. That was nothing. That was nothing. Okay, what the fuck?
In a very busy apartment complex, and it was just like there, and it's been hanging around, so it really smells. Do you guys have any tips? Like, I don't think it's sprayed in our house, but like, how do you get rid of the smell?
You don't think it's sprayed in the house, but how would you get rid of the smell hypothetically if it had sprayed in the house? Think it's sprayed in the house if it's got the smell, lady. That would just be my guess. But it's funny. She's just like in a crowded apartment building, and a skunk just appears. Witches. That's the only explanation there.
Like, it just stinks in our house. I'm pretty sure it was a shapeshifter. I'm just fucking annoyed.
Oh, see, she said I'm just fucking annoyed, right? Like, so she still swears and stuff, but she's just like, so she's just a blatant liar, Like, it's just, I don't know if she thought like, oh man, I can make money at this or something. If I just lie, because that's, I could see if somebody was willing to be dishonest enough, just making shit up. All right, let's see if I can find, because there was one that I saw. Okay, these are the live, because it was one that was kind of like her initial breakdown, and it was really funny. My lore, I think that's what it is. How I survived ritual abuse. All right, let's take a look at this one. How long is it? 34 minutes. Okay, we're not going to watch the whole thing. I just want to get into some of it, because I think this was like one of the first ones.
Most people think back to their childhood. They think about homemade meals, mom hugging you, playing outside with fireflies, and maybe even Easter egg hunts.
Maybe.
And you look back on those memories very fondly.
Fondly, yeah. I know.
When I think back to my childhood, I think about the sad and...
Hold on. I just saw a comment that I have to address. What? Remember when Eminem being a clone was a thing? It was a big thing. No, I don't. Yeah, David Icke. That's what it sounds like, right? It sounds like some David Icke type shit, right? And that was exactly where my mind was at too. Yeah, David Icke all the way. But no, I do not remember the Eminem clone thing. But that's fucking hilarious. Was that? Oh, it was Slim Shady. That was Slim Shady. Okay, I think I'm putting it together.
Scared little girl that was shoved into cages, that was ritually abused, and that spent 13 years fighting for her life and in complete terror. I also think of the little girl that spent 7 years underground in a military base.
This sounds like bad science. Like it sounds like Chat GPT science fiction. Like they were just like, hey, give me a science fiction story, just with no other prompts. Just give me a ridiculous science fiction story. And this is how it would start. A young girl was in a deep underground military base for 7 years and then just appears to the surface, and there would be so much evidence to this. Like you'd just be like a person dropping down from the sky, like with no social security number, all this type of stuff. Like I feel like there'd be coverage of this sort of thing.
That's what I think about when I think about my childhood. Today we're going to be talking about specifically that childhood, that little girl.
That childhood? You mean your? Like, I feel like she's not even lying, right? She's not like, I'm going to talk about that childhood. Like like that's a Freudian slip. That's not my childhood. That's just that childhood that I'm talking about.
And how everything that happened to her came to be.
Happened to her or you? Like, I thought this was you. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Today, we're going to be talking about my full story end to end of how I entered into satanic ritual abuse and ended up living in an underground base for almost 13 years.
Damn, that's
welcome back to Angel's Journey podcast.
What the fuck? You gotta be kidding me.
I'm a satanic ritual abuse survivor.
Not a thing. That's not a thing that exists. Because can you name the cult? Name the cult that's the satanic one, because they don't exist. All the cults that exist are religious on some level, like some kind of Christian type level, in America anyway.
Government sponsored mind control survivor. And
sorry, and a mind control survivor. I forgot about that. What the fuck does that even mean? How do you, like, what? I survived people controlling my mind? Okay.
Former occultist turned Christian. So welcome to my channel.
Wait, so you used to be in the occult? Like you were down with it when they were doing all the ritual abuse? You're like, yeah, this is what I like, because I'm an occultist, dude. Like I'm into it. Like, is that what she's trying to say? Was she like, because she was almost making it sound like she was fucking kidnapped or something, and then now she's saying she's an ex-occultist, but I don't even know what the fuck that means.
If you're new, if you feel
I'm new to whatever this is anyway. But
like it, hit that bell, subscribe, do all the things, share with your friends if you want. But here on my account, I specifically talk about suffering from satanic ritual abuse.
You keep saying that. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, what abuse? Like, just say what the thing is. Like, you're not saying anything. You're just repeating a thing that doesn't actually exist.
As well as living underground in a military base until...
Again, second claim you've made for like the 14th time without any other details.
I was age 13. So if you like that kind of stuff, if you like conspiracy theory, occult...
you like that kind of stuff, like what a weird way. Like she starts it out like so solemn. Like, I was abused for 13 years in a deep military underground base, whatever the fuck. And then just goes, if you're into that stuff, if you're into conspiracy stuff, like what the fuck is happening?
Cults themselves, weird creatures.
I'm into weird creatures, that's for sure.
how the supernatural realm actually works.
Oh, she's got the 411 on how it actually works, unlike how everybody else says that. It seems like everybody seems to know how it actually works, and it's wildly inconsistent from person to
should
person.
stick around. Today's podcast style, I'm not going to do much editing, so this is definitely an episode that you can have
It's like, yeah, I don't like to do all that stuff. That, it takes time. It's, it's tedious. It is tedious.
on in the background. Highly encourage you. Just put your phone up and just take a listen. We're gonna
Okay, you can't say that you're not going to do a whole lot of editing, and then there's an edit every 4 seconds. My God, dude! Like what? Yes, it is editing.
get into how I went underground and all that stuff. But first, I have to lay the groundwork as to how I even got involved in this stuff in the first place. Because unlike most survivors, my parents were not a part of the occult. I have a very close friend who is the granddaughter of Anton LaVey and the great-great-granddaughter of Aleister Crowley. And
Whoa, wait, what? She's both, or are these 2 different people? So you got the granddaughter of Anton LaVey, notorious liar, and troll, and then Crowley, who was just crazy. He was just a crazy person. He thought he was a fucking wizard.
Her non-bio parents, she was adopted, were very much involved in this, as well as her bio parents. Okay, so that is not my story. So my story is unique in this way. And there's a lot of other survivors that it's their uncle, it's their cousin. But my 4th or 5th cousin, Nathan Reynolds, we are both from the same Reynolds bloodline. He talks about how his parents were involved in it. Now, his parents had much more money than my family. I think we were kind of the runts of the Reynolds clan, maybe. I don't know. So if my parents were involved in this, how did this?
John said, holy shit. It's been like 30, 40 years since the whole satanic ritual abuse was debunked. Did Christians not get the memo? They never get memos. By the way, I just want to make that just clear. They will ignore them on purpose, it seems, because they don't want no fucking memos. Okay, that's about it. The memo shows up, they say, no, thank you, please. I'm a Christian. I'm going to keep thinking things that were silly from 2,000 years ago. So, or what she still, or what? She's still in the bunker? I don't know. Maybe she is, like, saying, live from the satanic ritual abuse bunker, I am Angel.
How did this happen? How did this work? Well, my maternal grandmother and her husband, who was my step grandfather, he was not my biological grandfather. And so they were a part of a group called the Rosicrucians. Now, I was just
Rosicrucians. I feel like you can't say that without sounding drunk.
Speaking to you about my cousin Nathan Reynolds, and I want to make something clear that not only were they part of this cult, they were I am also a descendant of one of the 13 original families. And so just like Nathan talks about.
Okay. Jesus Christ. So she just packs in so much bullshit. So she's a descendant of one of the 13 royal families with that's so funny. You were literally just talking about this. What comment was it? Said that it was like the Rothschilds, the this, the that, like all that. That's the 13 families of the Illuminati or whatever, right? That's what she's talking about. Jesus Christ.
My bloodline is known for being from the line of Nimrod.
Oh, okay. That's which one is that? The Nimrods? Is that a last name, or is it
and they have heavy documentation to speak about that.
Oh, they were documented stuff. Back to the story in the Bible where they were building a magical tower that was supposedly going to lead up to heaven, and God didn't like all those people working together, and so he struck them with quote unquote confusion or Babel, so that nobody could understand each other, which is supposed to be an ancient biblical way of explaining like where different cultures came from. But she's got the documentation.
It's kind of funny. People have even said in TikTok videos that I look like Nathan. So we have the same. I have makeup on, but we have the same nose. We definitely have the same eye color, gray, very gray eyes, and kind of darkish, reddish hair.
Gray eyes? Is gray an eye color? I didn't even know that was an. I didn't think that could be an eye. I thought it was brown. Like what? Like what is gray? What is that?
So interesting. We do look the same. When I was blonde, we didn't look the same at all, but now we do. So anyway,
No clue who the fuck she's talking about. Can you keep it on track here, lady? Come on.
yeah. So the Reynolds were one of the original 13 families. So we have a very volatile mix going on. I was inherited.
Yeah, we can see that. And what, you just gonna give up on it now that you've blipped 17,000 times?
And I realized I forgot to tell this story.
Oh,
so
shit.
something else to give you an idea of the
She blipped
high
again.
strangeness that was in my family.
The high strangeness? Is that wow? That's what is that? That sounds like something that you would like call your friend, you know, that's like into, I don't know, like being strange. You're like, yes, your high strangeness. Yes. Oh, yes, I will get right away. Your high strangeness.
My grandmother had told my family a very strange story about when she stumbled upon her father in the middle of the night.
So she meant that just as like, I'm sorry, just the way she talks is funny. Like, so she meant the high strangeness as in, I'm going to tell you a story that's fucking weird. Like, that's like...
My great-grandfather, who was the bio father of my biological grandmother, was a high-level sorcerer,
Oh.
as luck would have it.
They're never like, you know, run-of-the-mill low level or just mundane level sorcerers, you know, they're always the highest level. You notice that? It's crazy. So it's like just constantly.
And one night she was stumbling out of her bedroom and she found her father in the middle of the room levitating on a black obsidian looking like throne with
wait, was the throne, wait, there was a throne, but he was levitating. Oh, then why have the throne? Like throne seems like if you can levitate, thrones are kind of pointless, you know?
all manners of colors swirling around him. And he looked at her and said, "You have the gift too, sister." Sorcery and
Okay. Look, when you take mescaline, stuff like this is going to happen. All right. That's you don't want to log it away as something that happened that wasn't a batshit hallucination. Okay.
witchcraft has been passed down in my family for generations, for a long time. And I am the first one that I know of to break the cycle. And so for those of you that don't know, the original 13 families are the 13 families that made deals with Lucifer ages ago. And there is actually a paper on CIA.gov. I'll put a reference for the title of it here. It's by Fritz Springmeier, and they actually put this dude in fucking prison for publishing this paper because he did all this research on the original 13 families, okay? And these 13 families have now splintered into other last names. And so that is that's where the Reynolds come from specifically.
Oh, after the splinter. That's why it's okay. Okay. So there were 13 families that all made a deal with the king of darkness himself to be rich or something. They're going to be like the old wealth in the future. That's what they were doing?
So we are a descendant of one of the original 13. And then, of course, my step-grandfather was heavily involved in Rosicrucianism. Okay.
Okay. I don't know what Rosicrucianism is. Does anybody? Where's Ember? She knows. I guarantee it. She knows. It's probably gonna be like, that's an ancient like religion of some sort or something. Do y'all know what that is? Has anybody heard of that? What did she say? Rosicrucianism. I'm like tempted to look it up. Hold on, let me just Google this. This is now. Yeah, I can spell it though. Oh yeah, okay. Let's just see. Maybe it'll just come up. Rosicrucia. Oh, Rosicrucian. Is that what you said? Is an esoteric, spiritual, and cultural movement centered on secret wisdom handed down from ancient times, characterized by symbols of the rose cross and founded on 17th century manifestos. Okay. Early manifestos, the movement emerged in the early modern Europe, 1607 to 1616, via anonymous publications like I can't read that, telling the tale of the mystic Christian Rosencreuz. Modern orders revived in the 20th century. The ancient mystical order, Rosicrucius, AMORC, was established in the U.S. in 1915 by Spencer Lewis, with headquarters located in San Jose, California. Okay. Weird. So that's some kind of, what do you call it? Ancient mysticism type of belief system. Okay. Got it.
What is Rosicrucianism?
We already went over it.
Is
You don't have to. We already did.
Study of the esoteric and alchemical practices. Now, just like the Masons, they present as a group, a fraternus, a fraternitas, as they say.
Fraternitis. I've never heard them say that, and I know several people that are in the Masons, all nerds, mind you. Sorry to the Masons in the audience, if you're out there. Y'all are nerds, okay? Dressing up like that, doing that, it's nerdy, okay? Just is. You could have a lot more fun just playing D&D like other normal people, okay?
But they are not what they seem, because when you start getting up higher level in the rows, a lot of them, you have to be a 33rd degree Mason before you even attempt to become a Rose. And there obviously, there's people that comment like, Angel, my dad was in the Rosicrucians and he was like a level 1. I'm talking about a different path. That is the path of the level 1, level 2 Mason that stages out towards the public.
That almost sounds like somebody showed up that actually knows some other stuff. Screwing up liars every time, just showing up. They're like, I actually know somebody that was this level or whatever. I'm talking about this one's a different subset within the satanic diaspora. I don't know.
Where nobody sees what's going on the inside. I'm talking about high level Rosicrucianism, high level Masonic lodge, okay? Scottish Rite. That's what I'm talking about. Rosicrucians kind of branched off from the Scottish Rite. And if you want to hear more about this from an actual member, you guys should look up Bill Schneblin on YouTube. He's still alive. God love him.
What?
He's amazing.
Schneblin? Is that what you just, hold on, what was that name?
Branched off from the Scottish Rite. And if you want to hear more about this from an actual member, you guys should look up Bill Schneblin on YouTube. He's still alive. God love him. He's
well, I would hope if he's on YouTube. My God. Schneblin. Schneblin. Okay.
Amazing. He did all these things. He was a lycanthrope, so he was a vampire at one point. Survived off of blood for like 7.
How does she just pass by this? She just says it like it's just so. Yeah, and he was a vampire, as they tend to be over there. They're all vampires. Oh man, they got bars to drink blood and everything. They move really fast too. Have you ever seen True Blood? It's a lot like that. It's kind of crazy to be around them. Just everybody just whizzing past you. You think you're gonna get hit, but they're just they move really fast, like that Automan car. That just go right past you. You don't even notice it.
Several years, which I like to point you guys to these people because it attests to my story that there are real people alive out there that have experienced these things themselves. So
I don't think that's right.
Anyway, but he talks about being.
It's crazy that she like just says vampire so flippantly, and then she's like, and that attests that these are real things that are really happening. That is actually real. Like, it's like you're not helping your case here when you're just breezing by vampire.
A Mason, being a Rosicrucian, being a Mormon. He talks about all these things. Okay,
how do Mormons get in the fucking mix? Okay, but that felt out of character. Like one of these things just doesn't belong. Like what the fuck?
So my grandfather was a high level Rosicrucian, and so in there were two folds, and there was a side of the occult, but also a mix of the government sponsored mind control programs like MK Ultra.
Just mixing it all together. Fuck it, you know. Might just blender this shit. Let's just blender the bullshit all down into something.
Okay. So I'll share my birth story with you all, but something before my
how do you remember that? It's like, check it out. Here's what happened the day I was born.
Birth story you should know is that my birth was planned for over 100 years. And I want you to understand what that means. What that means is that when people are born in the occult, it's rarely by accident.
I was planned to be born 100 years ago. Like, how the hell? What a weird fucking thing to say, dude.
And Dan Duvall, I have my feelings about him, but he is a very well intellectualized person and well-known person in the space.
What was his name? Dan, what?
I have my feelings about him, but he is when people are born in the occult, it's rarely by accident. And Dan Duvall.
Dan Duvall. I'm going to look this up. Sorry. We're going to take a second here. I got it because I really would like to watch more stuff like this if we can find other people. Dan Duvall. Oh, he's an author. Equipping the Body of Christ. Dan Duvall. Looks like he's just a pastor or something. Bride Ministries International. Equipping the Body of Christ with Revelation, Community. Okay, he just seems like he's a pastor. I don't know. That's all I'm saying. If that's the same person she's talking about, but anyway.
I have my feelings about him, but he is a very well intellectualized person and well-known person in the space, and has some pretty incredible interviews on his channel. I don't like hearing him talk, but I love hearing the survivors talk that he interviews. So Dan,
I'm sorry. I knew that was going to get. What is with? How old is everybody? I knew it. I knew somebody was going to freak out by the Automan reference. Yeah, I remember Automan. Automan was fucking awesome, dude. That was DC Comics. He was the man that came out of the computer, and he drives a really fast car that whips around everywhere. And you actually could turn the car into different things. It was an 80s show that was fucking phenomenal, and I wish they would bring it back. And yes, I know Automan. You got to remember, for like the first half of my life, just watched old everything. So all of the references that I say are from like 40 plus years ago. So anyway, but yes, I remember Automan. Sorry. Side tangent. It's just so funny to me the way that y'all get these references, and they're just so outdated. It's unbelievable.
Sandoval talks about iniquity in the bloodline, and he talks about, and he's right, he talks about how iniquity can be built up in a bloodline over decades, centuries, and years. And so that is why when someone like myself and Nathan Reynolds is born, it is a big deal, because they have spent decades.
I feel like I don't understand anything any better, even at this point. And we've been at this for 10 minutes. and she is not she has not given us anything but a bunch of vague references, it seems, and just breezing past shit like vampires. I'm waiting for her to like be like, yeah, he was a werewolf. Yeah, anyway. They're all over the place. Kansas, am I right? Fucking werewolves, right? Jeez.
Of abusing certain people in your bloodline to ensure the demonic and number one, the demonic power, the Nephilim spirit power, and the iniquity that runs through their.
Of course, it's got to be the Nephilim spirit. They love the fucking Nephilims, dude. They're like obsessed with Nephilim. And there's been this huge surge, it seems, in like Nephilim discussion, all because of these like couple of Bible verses that allude to like the Book of Enoch and stuff. It just has to do with like the flood, and they try to say that the reason that God flooded the earth was because of the Nephilim, because they started having sex with women. Like I don't know why God made their parts go together. I feel like that should have been job one, is not create the angelic beings or demons or whatever they are with like the ability to reproduce with humans. I don't know. I just feel like that would be job one. But like, it's kind of funny also to think that like angels reproduce the same way we do, I guess, and then have giants as babies. And yeah, and the giants that were the babies, those were the Nephilim.
Their veins continues to pass through you. And why is that? Because what these people do to you, if you don't have a high level of iniquity, you won't fucking make it.
Whoa, lady, with the language. Whoa.
You will die.
You will just die.
I watched so many children die underground because they could not take it. They could not deal with it.
It reminds me of, it's like one of those things where it's like, if you say that the thing that you're claiming is true is like horrific enough, people have to take it seriously, right? Like, like that's almost what it seems like. Like, are you seriously going to laugh about this? Yeah, because it's not real and she's just lying straight up. But it's just funny because I feel like they do stuff like that. Like they make these claims horrific so that they can say it like you almost, it's almost like shameful if they say that to your face and you just start laughing. How are you laughing? And did you hear what I said? I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm laughing. But like, you know what I mean? They like try to use it as some kind of like gravity that makes it so you have to believe the claim, or at least treat her like you believe the claim, because the claim is just so horrific.
It is not necessarily a compliment that I was able to survive it. There is a reason I was able to survive it, and it's because they planned my birth for so many years. And when you build up that iniquity in the bloodline, when the
like, who is doing this, dude? Like, what are you talking about? She like mentioned some like kinds of like belief systems or whatever, but like she's not really saying anything about it, and then saying that it's somehow like attached to the government, but it's so like vague that we don't really get anything about who is doing this, in what capacity, or anything else.
Child is born. They are born in darkness. And Batman.
I was born in the darkness, molded by it.
Bane talks about,
oh my God, I was joking. Holy fucking shit.
Your shadows belong to me because you
that was seriously unplanned. I did not know she was going to start talking about Bane, but that is one of the few characters in comics and stuff that were born into darkness in the pit. If you're not familiar with the story, well, just go watch Dark Knight Rises, although that's a very like light version of it, and you kind of get confused as to like who it was born in the darkness, because it ends up being like a switcheroo in the movie. Anyway, sorry, I'm off on a tangent here.
You knew the dark, you became familiar with the dark, but Bane was born in it. And that is how that's how survivors are born. They are born with.
Yeah, because like if you read the actual, like I read the book anyway. I didn't read the comics when they came out, but like there's a book called Nightfall, and it was about Bane being born in the prison. His mom was like in the prison or whatever, and he was born in this like dark prison, and she was like in this the dark area or whatever. And he got like put in the pit where basically you get put in this like hole in the ground that's like connected to the ocean, I guess, and it's completely dark. And he got put in there when he was like 10 years old. And because he survived so much time in the pit down there, just eating raw fish and shit, apparently, that he caught, in the bottom of the pit. That's like why they did the experiment on him, to put all of the plates underneath his skin and stuff to like cover up all the vital areas so that you could never hit him in like the neck or anywhere like that. Anyway, that's the comic book version, but it's still a cool like origin story. I don't even really know why I'm talking about this. It's more interesting, I guess, than anything she's saying.
20 legs up in the wrong direction. They're 20 legs down, essentially. Instead of having a leg up on someone, they have 20 legs down because it's so much darkness that they are born into.
Oh my God.
But the occult
What?
loves that, because what that means is that your occult power is going to be incredibly intense. And so for sake
Trauma baiting. That's interesting. So describe to me like what does that mean specifically? Because I feel like I follow with what you're saying, but I don't know as if I've ever heard anything characterized that way. So cruise ship, what do you mean by trauma baiting? What is that? What is that when you trauma bait? Just curious.
of this example, I just want you to understand that the reason for my 100-year planned birth is because they knew, okay, we're eventually going to have a son or a daughter be born, and they are going to have enough occult power to do these certain things that they want them to do. And so I have no doubt that if my grandparents had continued to live, that I would have been trained for Hollywood for sure. I would have been I would have been famous. And their plans were 100% interrupted. But I just want you to understand that there was always a plan in place of what I was to become and what I was going to be.
I am so confused. Okay, so it sounds like she's trying to make the case that these Hollywood people, a lot of them are born into satanic cults and then conditioned to become movie stars and stuff, and music artists and stuff, which is a whole new take on the satanic lore that used to be that you like went to the crossroads and sold your soul, and then you were given talent for your soul, and then you would go become famous and everything. And now apparently they're just breeding into it. They're just just selling souls out the gate. I guess that's the parents that are selling the kids souls or something.
Okay, so with that in mind, they've planned my birth. My grandmother was obviously programmed. Probably her
Obviously, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
mothers and fathers before that, and their spouses were pre-planned. They never met anyone by accident, and
wait, what?
They knew that someone would
A
eventually
lot of arranged marriages, it seems here.
be born, that they could have them endure certain rituals that they needed them to. So my birth story is interesting, the way my parents tell it. So
Okay. For a second, I thought she was like, "Oh, I astral projected back to when I was born, so I could like see what happened."
it's 1996. I'm 30 years old. My mother is going into labor, and strangely, my father has come down with the flu, a really heavy case of the flu,
Strange.
which now looking back just screams witchcraft in my opinion. But they didn't know any better, because my grandparents had Christian altars that would play the part, and would for
What?
lack of a better term, it would disguise the Christian altars would disguise their occult parts, basically.
What? Okay. So much to deal with there. So the flu was from the witches, and then they had Christian altars to disguise the satanicness of can't even say it without. This is so absurd. It's absurd. It's so absurd. It's absurd. My God, what the fuck? That was redundant. I know. So another failed conservative actor to the Daily Wire with you. Just watch. She's going to be the star of the next. Like Run, Hide, Fight 4. She's going to be the main character. Watch. You'll see.
And so my father was horribly sick with the flu. Sorry, I'm just annoyed by my hair right now. My father.
I am too, actually. I mean, it's just way too wavy. What even is that? Okay, you need to get a hair straightener pronto.
Father was sick with the flu, and my mother was under the impression that she was going to be able to give natural birth and not have a C-section, and so ended up needing a C-section. And my grandmother was in there the entire time because my dad was sick. He was just kind of sitting up against the wall, just trying to stay alive because he had like 103 fever. Well,
while you were being born, that's not safe. You're not supposed to have a sick person in the room with somebody being born like that. That's how you get an infant mortality. Actually,
when I was born, the first person to hold me was not my mom, it was my grandmother. And
what?
I've been told two different stories.
I've
been told, oh, your mom, then your grandmother. It doesn't really matter, but why would you not? I understand my father is sick, but why would you not hand me to my father with some type of medical equipment on? And
that's not really how the flu works. What medical equipment? You got to put him in the bubble boy bubble, but with arm holes so that he can. They're like gloves, you see them in the science movies where they deal with the infectious diseases inside the lab and everything. Those come out the side of the bubble boy hole so that he can help. What the fuck do you think is happening here? This is like the weirdest, just the basic level of like consistency with reality that she doesn't seem to understand is just fascinating.
So the point is that my grandmother held me, and that is when I was first initiated into the occult.
Oh, from birth. I was born into the occult. Okay. It sounds like she's trying to out young one of her other friends who were like, I was initiated when I was like 5 years old. She's like, oh yeah? I was fucking born in the occult. Beat that. They go, yeah, well, I was a fetus. That's right. Oh, they got me with the fetus thing. I should have said that I was a fetus. Initiated as a fetus.
Understand that or not, because when these people get their hands on you, they begin to curse you, channel things to you, and begin to mark you. That's why it's very important who you allow into your birth room, who you allow around your children when they are first born.
Like, hold on, I mean, no, I didn't. Yeah, don't let people in there. You're like, hold on, is that a tattoo gun? Wait, hold on, but why are you with my newborn? What is going on here? Get that tattoo gun away from my. Oh, is that a satanic symbol? I knew we shouldn't have had Uncle Ted in the room. God damn it, Ted.
The first thing that's going to happen to my children is before they set my child on my chest, they are going to hand it to my husband, because my husband is going to consecrate them to God and tell them that they are the Lord's before they go on my chest, because he is the head of my home. And medical professionals would disagree with you. That's, fine, but that's what I.
Hold on. I guess I got, thrown off by like the ritual marking of the infant or whatever.
Children is before they set my child on my chest, they are going to hand it to my husband, because my husband is going to consecrate them to God and tell them that they are the Lord's before they go on my chest, because he is the head of my home.
Okay. So she's saying, I'm going to avoid all of this by having my husband do a magic spell, like a Christian, a good magic spell on the infant to keep the satanic magic out of there, you know.
And medical professionals would disagree with you. That's, fine, but that's what I would
I
want.
mean, I would say religious individuals would disagree with you. You don't do it straight out the birth canal. Usually, they usually have like a special Christian ritual for that specifically. To what do they call it? Where you like dedicate your kid or something, which is creepy if you ask me, and wildly inappropriate. Like, this kid will be in the religion forever or something. I don't know what they do that for, as if the child isn't their own person that can choose whether or not they want to be a Christian. But they're like, no, we decided it from our dedication, I guess. I don't know.
Spiritually. And so you passing around your newborn baby to everybody, culturally, we think that's normal, but it's really not. You need to be asking God who needs to be touching your child and in the beginning stages, and who doesn't. So at that point, when I was an infant,
Hold on. Okay, because this is the answer to the question, right? I had asked Khrushchev, what is trauma baiting? And Khrushchev was saying the way she casually throws out something traumatic, like literal clockwork, to keep the engaged, or to keep you engaged and remind you you're a piece of shit if you click off. Oh, trauma beta bridge brain. Okay, I got you. Yep. That does kind of seem like it does kind of seem to kind of like cut psychologically to make you feel bad if you don't, like I was saying, like if you don't buy it, oh, you're a bad person because listen how traumatic the thing is. And it's like, yeah, but it's not true though, So that's interesting. Huh.
there were, what I believe, doctors that were a part of this same cult, and they took my DNA. And they were able to clone me.
Oh, yeah. She's a clone, y'all. Not so far. We've got satanic cults, deep underground military things. Somehow there's a connection with the government. Not really sure how that works. Then we've got now cloning. And they took her DNA and cloned her. Are you a clone lady?
They were able to clone me. And I know that sounds crazy, and that's fine.
No, it just is. It just is crazy. That's not a thing that happens at all. And I feel like I feel like you need at least some kind of evidence to demonstrate that this is not crazy. At least show me any kind of evidence that this is something that even happens. But of course, she's not going to do that. She's going to claim that it is, and then be like, "Yep, it happened," and it.
But I have the physical implications to back this up.
Oh.
And
you got the physical implications. Oh, that's good. That's pretty good evidence. I don't know what the fuck physical implications are, but okay.
When they cloned me, at some point, I was switched out as an infant. At some point, don't know when. This is a very common thing that happens with SRA survivors.
Oh, it's common, man. They get switched out with the clone. The clone gets switched. So are you the clone, or are you? Like, what's happening there?
And so when they switched me out, I was immediately put in an artificial womb and was...
Wait, what? You were put back into the womb? Like, why would... What? That doesn't make any sense. Wait, why would they put you back in a womb? Are you like still not? Are you a fetus at this point? What is going on?
Birthed pretty shortly after. And so...
Wait, what?
I was immediately put in an artificial womb and was birthed pretty shortly after. And so my parents had
fuck? Wait, that did none of this. Chronologically, you lost me. Wait, what point? How did they put you back into a womb, dude? Like, if you're not a fetus, you would have had to been born And then they said they switched him out and then put you back in a womb. What is time moving backwards all of a sudden? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
The real me at some point. And they
The what
and
is the real
so
me?
my parents had the real me at some point, and they swapped me.
I'm like, Dad, you give us a different one. I don't know. She kind of looked at me weird the other day. Just that, can you swap her out with another one? Same DNA, just clone her, swap it out that way.
So my grandparents and the occult, and eventually,
just the occult, the whole thing, just all of it.
Government people
The
that
government.
were involved. They eventually switched me, and my parents took home a clone, and I stayed with my grandparents. And I have to be careful. I stayed with the military and eventually lived underground.
What? I have to be careful how I'm saying. I'm saying all this stuff. This is completely crazy and absurd. But I got to be careful not to say the crazy and absurd stuff to what specifically? Is that it? The specifics will get you in trouble? Is that what it is?
For 13 years.
Oh my God. You are not well, lady. Like, you need to go see a psychiatrist. Okay. Yeah, but you're going to need some therapy too. But like the drugs, you need the drugs.
Okay. So that is how I was taken away from my parents. And it also is why my story is hard to corroborate. Because,
that's good. Yeah, no, well, shit.
There's pictures of me as a child with my parents.
So, see, that makes it difficult to be like, oh, that's not actually her, but they got pictures. So, it's these occult government military based witches are good, man. They cover all their bases. That's the problem.
But yet I have all these memories of being underground and all this trauma in my body of being sexually assaulted and raped all the time. And there's no explanation for it. And I had no understanding as to how this.
Yep, you're right about the trauma baiting. So I see it. I can see it now. Yep, more trauma bait.
This could be possible until cloning was brought up. And I remember the process of being cloned, and it is excruciating. No matter what people tell you, it's excruciating. It's traumatizing.
Yeah, it's like, you ever seen that movie Wolverine, the origin, X-Men Origins Wolverine? Maybe they stick all these needles in him. It's almost like that, but like worse.
It's not this simple thing that people make it out to be.
People make it out to be a simple thing. It doesn't exist, dude. Like, human cloning is not a thing. Like, what are you like in the movies? Is that what you're talking about? Like the 6th day and shit? Like, what are you talking about?
Horrible. So, wow. My parents took home the clone. So we're going to put a pin in that for now. And now we're going to talk about me being an infant, being raised by my grandparents. So I mostly lived in their basement up until I was about 6 or 7. When I was 6, I was then transferred to a military base in the South underground that was decommissioned, essentially. Okay. And that's where I lived. And I want you to think of 11 and Stranger Things. I had a bed, I had a room, I had a toilet.
She's like, this is what gave me the idea to make all this up. Have you seen Stranger Things? That I was basically 11. That's what this is. She's like, how can I make this my story? This Stranger Things gimmick. How can I make Anarchic Fox to shut up? What the fuck? Oh my God. What's up, Anarchic? How you doing, dude? It's good to see you. She really needs to get some professional help. No joke. I'm not even kidding about that. Seriously, she needs help. I mean, maybe she's just a blatant fucking liar trying to make a name for herself on the TikToks and stuff. But if not, she's not well. She's gonna end up getting somebody hurt with these kinds of claims and stuff. Like this is the kind of like paranoid delusions that you typically hear from people that have some kind of what's it called? Schizophrenia, literally. I mean, it just is. They always think there's like a plot afoot. You know, they're gassing the room. They'll be like checking the vents and stuff for poisonous gas. They're trying to gas me. All this type of stuff. It's psychosis. You know, it's not real. It's a paranoia, and they create this reality out of their paranoia to a dangerous degree. And that is very much so what this sounds like.
I had some stuffies.
Stuffies?
And I had some clothes.
What are stuffies? Like stuffed animal? Did you call them stuffies? Okay. It's a new one to me. Never heard them called stuffies before. That sounds like a brand, though. Like, you know, get your own stuffies.
And that's where I lived. And
okay, and that's where we're gonna pick up next time. No, I don't know if we're gonna continue with this lady. It's almost like so insane that it's not fun because it's just like, yeah, she's lying. That's it. That's like the majority of what you could say to this stuff. Sometimes the lies are entertaining enough to be like fun to react to and stuff. But yeah. Hold on, cruise ship said she's methodical and just avoiding overdoing the trauma and the timing. Interesting. See, I didn't even notice it to that degree, but you call them stuffies too? What? I've never heard that one. I guess I'm not really around a whole lot of kids. That's the thing. That's funny. Stuffies. Never heard that one. Fun. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out. I might do another one on Sunday if you want to come and hang out with that. I'm also got another video in the works. And if you want to check out any of the newest videos that I got, I've got a part 2 of the Durante situation that I'm working on right now, just in the editing process. And, you know, but if you haven't seen those, the previous videos, check those out. Let me know what you think. And also got one with Chad Harris that came out fairly recently. If you want to watch that, let me know what you think, all that good stuff. But also, yeah, you want to smash that like button, all that, you know, all of the things, right? Subscribe, ring the bell, share the show. Apparently, the jewels, you can give me jewels if you never heard of that. But yeah, so thanks for hanging out. And if you want to support the show, there's a bunch of different ways you can do that, and they are all right here. And really appreciate all the support. Y'all have been awesome. But like I said, gonna be trying to get back to do some more live streams here. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. So I will see y'all next time.